All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're building the ultimate survival guide for running community meetings. And honestly, not just any meetings. We're talking about those absolutely critical gatherings where you just have to have the parents in the room, which means by default, you're going to have kids in the room. So if you've ever tried to run an agenda while dodging a flying juice box, well, this one is definitely for you. We're diving deep into the toolkit for quiet kids.
I mean, picture this exact scenario, right? You're literally 3 minutes from a major vote, and there is a toddler under the table actively untying your shoe. Somebody's kindergartner is doing full-on wind sprints around the folding chairs. And somewhere in the back row, a baby has just discovered they have a voice, and they've got some serious volume to match. Welcome to the parent meeting. The whole point of these groups is that these folks are parents, but the central logistical nightmare is, ironically, exactly the same thing. So here's the absolute crucial paradigm shift we need to make right off the bat. A meeting with kids in the room is not a failed meeting. Actually, scratch that, it's often the only kind of meeting a lot of really busy parents can actually manage to get to. And you desperately want those parents there. Because think about it, nobody is more invested in a community group, a PTA, or local board than the person whose own kid is directly affected by the outcomes. So instead of fighting the chaos, we're gonna build our meetings with the kids in mind.
Now, this whole inclusive mindset, it actually starts building from the very first interaction you have with your attendees. I'd argue that half the stress of bringing a kid to a meeting is just the parent's own anxiety beforehand. They're totally terrified their kid is going to be way too loud or just too wiggly. You need to take that anxiety completely off the table before they even walk through the door. Put this exact sentence in your invite. Kids are welcome, bring them, we'll have a corner set up. Just that one single sentence immediately turns a stressed out stay-at-home parent into an active, engaged attendee. It tells everyone else that a little background noise isn't a massive crisis. It's just part of the process. And what's really cool here is how incredibly simple setting this up actually is. Listen, you do not need to run a full-scale daycare facility. You just need a strategic, contained spot. We're talking a rug or a cozy blanket in the back of the room, a small table, and a bin of quiet stuff. But the absolute most important element here? Clear sightlines. A parent has to be able to keep eyes on their kid while keeping half an ear on the actual agenda. Oh, and if you have the volunteer power, try implementing a rotating kid watch, where one grown-up just takes the corner for 10 minutes at a time. It is an absolute game changer. Keep them contained, keep them content. Moving on to the next section, the Quiet Kid Toolkit, packing the survival bag. Bringing the right gear is literally the difference between a parent who stays for the final crucial vote and one who bails at minute 20 in a complete sweat. We're talking about the ultimate sidekick survival kit. When you're packing for a meeting, you need to treat it like a highly classified tactical mission. You are strictly looking for low-mess, highly engaging activities that absolutely under no circumstances require a Wi-Fi connection. Let's do a quick, rapid-fire unboxing of what makes this gear so incredibly effective. Okay, here is your roster of MVPs, the most valuable players of the survival bag. First up, LCD Doodle tablets. These are brilliant. They're silent, reusable, and best of all, zero rogue markers finding their way onto the venue's nice tablecloths. Then you've got the Tony Box for screen-free audio stories, with headphones obviously, and a Kindle Kids for older readers who have maybe aged out of the doodle phase. But hold on, look at that fourth item, the Bento Box. A snack packed with a bunch of little compartments isn't just food, it is a strategic time management tool. A good bento box buys you a solid 15 minutes of focused, quiet eating. And what if you have a big kid who's bored out of their mind? Hand them an Instax mini camera and formally dub them the official meeting photographer. No joke, watch how deadly seriously they take that job. Throw in some quiet card games for siblings and, of course, wet ones. Because, well, let's face it, something is definitely going to get spilled on something. But hey, let's be totally honest with ourselves for a second. Sometimes you just need the Nintendo Switch. This is your ultimate break glass option. Listen to me, there is absolutely zero shame in deploying the Switch when the meeting runs long and patience runs incredibly thin. At the end of the day, a quiet meeting is a quiet meeting. If a round of Mario Kart gets you through the annual budget approval, you fire up Mario Kart. Now, we really need to talk about timing because this concept is absolutely vital to your success. Kids are a clock. Think of them as a ticking timer counting down from the moment they sit down on that back rug. You only have a very finite amount of good behavior in that room, and once those minutes are gone, they are gone. So you have to run your entire agenda accordingly. So here is exactly how you beat that ticking kid clock. Step 1, you've got to front load. Put the real decisions, the heavy debates, and the official votes right at the very top of the agenda, while the crayons are still fresh and the snack boxes are still full. Step 2, save the treasurer's reports, the lengthy committee updates, and the basic announcements for the very end. Honestly, if it could have been an email, it needs to go at the absolute bottom of the list. That way, if the whole meeting completely falls apart at minute 40 because a toddler has hit their absolute limit, it doesn't even matter. The critical business is already done, voted on, and officially in the minutes. And speaking of limits, we have to acknowledge this undeniable reality. You just have to roll with the meltdowns. At some point, a kid is going to lose it. It's guaranteed. A baby's going to start crying right in the middle of the financial report. A 4-year-old will yell that they have to pee during a moment of silence. As a meeting leader, you just need to give everyone a little grace. You pause, you smile warmly, you let the super embarrassed parent step out into the hallway, and then you just calmly pick right back up exactly where you left off. And that really brings us to a stark contrast in leadership styles. On one hand, we have the judgy leader. This is the person who glares when a kid drops a toy, making parents feel completely unwelcome. And you know what happens to that leader? They end up running perfectly quiet, extremely orderly meetings for exactly 3 people, because everyone else just quit. Conversely, we have the laughing leader. This person fully expects the chaos, rolls right along with it, and makes parents feel valued, kids and all. That leader keeps the room full. And let me tell you, a full, slightly messy room is always going to beat a perfect, empty one. So I want to leave you with a question to think about for your own community efforts. Which piece of survival gear are you going to pack for your next meeting? But more importantly, are you willing to embrace just a little bit of chaos to ensure that every single voice in your community is actually heard? You've got the toolkit now. You're fully empowered to run effective, inclusive meetings. Yes, even with a toddler untying your shoe under the table. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and good luck out there.